G'day everybody, Nick Dingle here again for another VB.net tutorial. This time around we're going to be looking at using list boxes. Now that sounds silly, but there's a lot of things that aren't really generally explained when you start using list boxes. So we're going to cover that in this project, and it's going to carry on to the next one. We're going to do some really cool things with item templates. So first of all, I'm just going to quickly name mine Listbox Examples and hit OK. Wait for it to generate my project. We're going to quickly set up the form because I don't want to spend forever on it. And we're going to go from there. Swap. I like to program in XAML because I don't like the drag and drop in this one. And let's start adding some things to our form. So, first of all, I want 2 columns and 2 rows. So let's set up our column definitions just like we've done in the past. Grid.column definitions. Okay. Close him off. And we want 2 columns. Now, we're actually going to specify a size this time. We're going to have the first column be 80% of the form. So you do that by 8 and then asterisk. Close that tag. I want a second column definition. He's going to be 20%. Now let's do the row definitions. I'm just going to copy this bad boy. Yes, I know. Quit complaining. Alright. And the row definitions, I want the first row to be 90% and the second row is the word to be 10%. Oh my god, are you complaining? Yes, you are. Alright, that's our grid set up. Please pause the video if you need to type that up to catch up to me. We're going to start adding in our objects. Now, let me just quickly explain what we're doing here. This big box is going to be a list box. The one on the right are going to be buttons for us to move items up and down a list box, duplicate and delete. This little bar here is going to be a text box. The one in the corner is going to be a button that allows us to add a new item based on what's in our text box. So the easiest one to start with, let's set up our list box in the big portion in the middle there. So open a tag, type in list box. He's going to be the main event. So we need to name this guy. So x:"name, and we start with the prefix. The prefix for list boxes is LST, and we're just going to be doing colors. So I'm just going to call him LST colors. And I want to put him in this position here. So grid.row equals 0, grid.column equals 0 as well. Close off the tag. Let's bring down the closing tag there. So you can see our list box there in all of his glory. Now, what I want to do is I want to quickly show you a list box is filled up with items. Okay, items can be many, many things. The most common things are they just plain old list view items. Okay. We could use this property over here on the right hand side to create some list view items, or we can just add them in manually through the XAML. Okay, so because I'm just going to have colors listed here, blue, green, yellow, red, blah, 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 I'm just going to add them in our XAML between our opening and closing tags here. And you just open a bracket and you say list view item, like so. And whatever you type, you can see our list view item has been created. Whatever you type between those little braces there is going to be whatever's in your list view item. So if I type in blue, you'll see down here that it's added in the blue item. So let's add a few more there, people. Let's copy and paste the whole line a couple of times. Green, yellow, red. In that order. No, I don't care. There you go. There's our 4 list view items. You can even click on them here, by the way, and you can change properties in the panel on the right about their colors and heaps of sort of stuff. I'm just going to leave it. We need to get the rest of it going. So let's get this right-hand panel here set up. So this is going to be examples of how to move list view items up and down, duplicate them and remove them. This is actually going to be the toughest part of this video. Okay. What I'm going to do is I could insert a button and set its column and its row, and then I'd have to add in a margin so it offsets from the top so they don't overlap each other. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add in a stack panel. And that's just going to have my buttons inside of it. So I'm going to show you how this is going to work. He's going to be row 0 and he's going to be column 1. So he's on the right hand side there. Whenever we add buttons in here, it's going to stack them vertically down this right hand panel here. And it's just going to make life a lot easier for us. So let's go button. Let's give them names because we're going to use them. Name. First one's going to be BTN move up. So you can guess what he's going to do. Text move up. And there he is. There's our move up button. 3 more buttons, move down, duplicate, remove. Copy, paste, paste, paste. Change that to move down. Change that to move down. Change that to duplicate. Change that to duplicate. button remove, and remove. Right, so we've got our 4 buttons. We've got to add code to them later, but that's set up and ready to go. Again, please pause the video if you'd like to try and catch up. 2 more things, the text box down the bottom and the button on the bottom right. So, text box, give him a name because we have to use him. He's going to be text color. He's going to be sitting in the grid row 1 because he wants him in the second one down here, and we want him in column 0. Like so. You can click on him down here if you want to check if he exists, and we're going to have a button in the bottom right, X name, button add color, grid.row equals 1, grid.column equals 1. And we are done. The form, I didn't add any text to that button, did I? Let's call it add item / button. Right, now we're done. The form's set up, we've named everything, we have to get coding. So, I'm going to start with the easy buttons first, and the easy ones are going to be add item, remove, duplicate, and then we'll attack the move up and down just after that because it's going to take us a little while. So, first step first, let's go with the add color button. The easiest way to add in a click event code is for you to type in on the end of the properties, click equals, and don't stuff it up like I did, double click or just press space bar on new event handler, and that will create a new sub. So if you go to your code section, there's the code for our button click. Okay, so everything to do with our list view, adding them, removing them, moving them, is going to be with the list box list colors. So we have to refer to it by its name. And everything that we add to it, the list view items, are called items. That's as simple as it gets. Okay? So let's say, for instance, I'm obviously going to be adding a new item to my list box. But before we get the text box involved, let's just add in a random list view item. So all you do in that case is type in the name of the list box, LST colors. You put dot items, and this is where all the magic happens, okay? You add something to items, it's automatically going to be in the list box. You remove something from items, same thing, okay? So let's quickly put another dot, and you can see there's the first function is just add. So let's open up the brackets, and let's just put poodle, because I can. Start the program and just click on the button and we'll see what this does. It's pretty straightforward, but just thought I'd demonstrate it first. And then we wait patiently. Simple as that. And you can see scroll bars appear when they need to, and so forth. Okay. So it is literally that easy. Now we don't want the word poodle to go in there every time. We want whatever's in the text box. So you're going to type in, instead of poodle and quotes, you're going to put the name of the text box to begin with, txt color. Okay, and you can't just add a whole text, well no, you can add a whole text box to a list box, but we don't want that, we just want the text. So list or text color dot text for that instance. And now what I'd like to do is when we add something to the text box, or sorry, from the text box, we clear it out at the same time. So I'm going to go text color dot clear, and that will clear out our text box. Let's add in a nice little comment, add a new list item and clear the text box. Do we need that comment? No, we don't, but it's good practice to start using comments throughout our programs. So start her up, okay, and you can see the behavior in action. Okay, so let's go poodle anyway. You can see it cleared out the text box. Let's go color orange, and there you go. And we can keep doing that until the cows come home, but we can see it works. It's all good to go. All right, so that's it done, everybody. Let me just quickly go back here. Zoom. Whoa, where'd you go? Okay, that's a bit of a weird error there. Thanks, Visual Studio. All right, let's attack this remove button next. Okay, this guy is going to be another very, very easy one, but I'm just going to quickly teach you a couple of concepts that we're going to use in every single other button that we need to program, basically. So let's come down here. Next to button remove, click equals new event handler, and let's jump to code. All right. So the first thing we need to make sure, before we can remove an item, they must have selected an item, okay? And this comes in, I'm just going to show you how we can check for a selected item. So if I type in list colors, we're obviously going to do an if statement, but bear with me. there is all this stuff called selected items and selected index and selected value. Now, all these have to do with what is currently selected. The main one we're going to be dealing with today is selected index. So basically, it returns us the number of the item or the position of the item that has been selected. So if the first item in a list box is selected, selected index is going to be a value of 0. The second item in the box will be a value of 1, and so forth. If there's nothing selected, and that's the key factor here, we need to make sure there's something selected. If there's nothing selected, it's going to be -1. All right? So if selected index is greater than -1, there is something selected and we can remove it. So this is the one we're going to be dealing with a lot. So I'm just going to highlight that and cut it. And let's put in a comment. Check if anything is selected first. Now the reason you have to do this is because if you try to remove something and there's nothing selected, then you will get a runtime error and your program will crash. So if list colors.selectedIndex is greater than -1, then we are allowed to do stuff. So let's remove the item that's selected. Okay, how do we do that? Well, we're bringing this items property back in. So let's go list colors.items. Now, if I type in remove, you get two options, remove and remove at. One wants an object, the other one wants an index. And you can probably guess which one I'm going to use. I want remove at. Remove is if you have the original string or you have the original text box or whatever is in your list box, you can use that to remove it. Remove at allows us to remove it as at a set position. Okay, which one do we want to remove? Well, the one they've selected. So list colors selected index. All right, try it out quickly. Come on, don't make me wait. You're making me wait. Okay, select red, remove. He's gone. If I click on remove when there's nothing selected, we're all good. And there we go. There's a clear list box, no errors happening there. And I could have added things using the add button. Okie dokie. So that's a quick introduction to how to use selected index and the remove at. We're actually going to see these guys lots in the next couple of buttons. So let's get to the duplicate guy. All right. Next thing, click equals new event handler, and let's add some code, people. Okay, come up here, come down to here, and let's add him in. First of all, we need to check if they've got anything selected because we can't duplicate nothing. So what I'm going to do is I'm literally going to copy my comment and my if statement here, and I'm going to use this throughout pretty much every single button that I create. Okay, so duplicate requires us making a new item and then placing it just underneath the one they've selected. The biggest problem is you can't reinsert the same object they have selected. So let's say they click on red. We can't just reinsert the item red. Okay, we have to create a new list view item, set its text to red, then insert it. Okay, sounds a bit tedious, but I'll show you what I mean right now. Let's create a new list view item. So dim item as a new list view item, and this creates a brand new variable in memory. Now all we have to do is set the text on that item. So item.contents, remember that, people, content for the majority of what we do from now on in WPF programming, equals whatever they have selected. Now we're going to bring in selected item, not selected index this time around. So colors selected item dot content. Now you're not going to get any autocomplete for that, but it will work. All right. So this is going to take what they've selected and whatever's inside that selected item and put it in our new list view item. So it's just going to copy the list view item while making it a whole new one. If we were just use selected item and try to reinsert it, you get an error saying that it's already added to the list box. That's why we have to do this long-winded process. So let's insert this new item below what we currently have. So list colors dot items dot insert, as simple as that. And it wants two things. Where do you want to insert it? What position? And what item do you want to insert? So where are we going to insert it? We're going to insert it one position below the current selected object. That sounds more complicated than what it is. It's list colors selected index plus 1. So one position underneath our currently selected item. What's the item? It's our item variable. So copy the selected and insert. Save, play, give it a go. make sure he works, because that's what I always like. So it's just going to duplicate what was selected, and I can mash it if I really feel like. Alright, so now it's time to move on to the move up button, and I'm skipping moving down, but we are basically going to use the same code in both these buttons, and move up a little bit easier to explain off the bat. So let's go to our design, let's go to click equals new event handler, and here we are, ready to go. Now, by the way, there's other ways that I could generate this sub. I just find it the easiest one. Okie dokie. So we're going to do a lot of the same checks. We're going to check if the selected index is greater than -1, because we have to. Otherwise, if they haven't selected anything, we're not going to do anything. Okay? No errors will occur. All right? The second thing we need to think about, if we're going to perform a move up function, we have to have selected something which is not the top item. So for instance, if they select blue, we're not going to even try and move up. Okay, so what we need to think of, his index would be 0 to begin with. So if they've selected anything greater than 0, we're good to go. All right, now if there is only one item in the list box and they select that and try to move it up, then that will obviously be handled by the fact that we're going to check if the second item is selected at least. Okay, so it needs to be at least 2 items for this to go off. So we're going to check if we can move up in this spot here. So we're going to bring back the selected index. If list colors dot selected index is greater than 0, then do stuff. Now, to be completely honest, we could just replace that if statement with this one, because they're basically doing the same thing. It's just this one's making sure we haven't selected the top list item as well as selected something. So I'm actually going to delete that, because we only need the one if statement for that. Okay? Sorry if you spent all that time copying and pasting or typing it up, God forbid. But anyway, now what we're going to do, I'm going to do one little thing different to our duplicate, and then we're basically going to do our duplicate, and then add a little bit more code afterwards. Now, bear with me. What we're going to do is we're going to back up the selected index first. So I'm going to create an integer called index, and I'm going to set it to selected index. Now, I need this, and I'll explain why soon. Okay. Second thing is copy and insert. So let's steal that, copy and paste it. Okay. Now, why am I doing this? Why can't we just perform a move function or a move up or a swap or something like that? And that's because if I type listcolors.items.move, these aren't what we're looking for. Okay? And in fact, if I go back to the list box and type in move, there is no option for us to swap or move. So what we effectively have to do is we have to insert the currently selected, we have to duplicate the currently selected item, we have to insert it above the item, the one it is, and then we have to remove the original. This sounds really long-winded, and that's because it is. Okay, that's why I left this to dead last. All right, let's say I want to move green up. So obviously blue's going to come down and green's going to go up. So what we're effectively going to do is we're going to copy this item. It's going to appear above blue, and it will literally say green, blue, green, yellow, red. And then we go out of our way to delete the green object. Okay? Don't know what that noise was. So what I'm going to do is we are going to duplicate the item, and where do we insert it? We need to insert it above the one that's above it. Okay? That might sound really weird. We need to insert green above blue. So selected index is our current position. +1 was the position after it. So -1 is the position before it. So that's going to duplicate, and that's going to put it in the position above what we're doing. Okay? Let's just start that up. Make sure that code works enough before we finish it off. We've only got a couple more lines of code to go. So play, green. All right, so you can see it's duplicated. You can see it's above the blue object. Now we have to remove the original, which is really easy. We're just going to use the same code we did right here in the remove click. So I'm going to copy that, paste it here, and that's going to remove the original, because the selected index will still have the one they selected highlighted, which is the beautiful part of it. Okay, give it a quick go. We've only got one more thing that we have to do. We have to reselect the duplicated one that goes up the top. So click on him, move him up, and there you go. So you can see we need to reselect that green so it feels a bit more natural moving up and down. Okay, and the way we do that is we're just going to change the selected index value. So select list colors selected index equals index. This is what we backed up the selected index -1 because it's now above where we used to be. That sounds a little bit weird, but this is the code that you use. This is how you swap items around, and it's probably the quickest way I've found to use it. If there's other ways people know, please comment down below and tell me. Okay, let's just make sure it works, and I'm just going to demonstrate to you why we reselect the duplicated items. So let's click red, and now the reason I can do it, because we reselect the duplicated item, we can now move up as much as we want. Okay, it's time for the move down, and we're going to copy all this code. So highlight, copy all of that, and you can probably guess what we're going to change. Okay, let's go to button move down, click equals new event handler. Here we are, paste. Now this is for moving up. I want to move down. So first of all, we need to change this bad boy. We need to make sure we have not selected the last item in the box. So how do we check the last item if we don't know how many items there are? Because we've given them the chance to remove things, duplicate things, and so forth. All right. We need to check if the selected index is less than list colors, items, .count, -1. The -1 ensures they have not selected the last item in the list. Okay? If it was just that, they would have been able to select the last item in the list. This makes sure they are not on the bottom of the list and they can't move down from the bottom. Now, let's quickly change a couple of pluses and minuses. This one, we actually need to change to +2 because we need to go over the top of our current item and over the top of the one underneath that. Okay? So +2 jumps 2 items, including the original one, +1, lands us on the correct item. That's it. Save. Pause the video if you need to type her up. I'm going to start her up. Make sure she works. Windows 10 is taking a little while to load this, people. And there we go. We can move Blue up and down as much as we feel like. We can duplicate him. We can add in even more. Oh, error. Oh. Ooh, tricky. All right. Wow, that was the quickest I've ever bug fixed. I've been playing with this for a while and I've never hit that error. Okay, the reason we got that error is because when we were adding from the text box, we were just adding a straight string. It was expecting a ListView item because strings don't have .content. The way I fixed it is this. I created a brand new item just like we've done in all the other subs. I set its content to the text of the text box. Then I add it to my list box. Okay, please type that up, fix my errors because I'm an idiot. Okay, I wasn't aware that that would happen, but at least I caught it whilst I was recording the video and I could quickly fix it up and give you the answer. I hope you've liked this video, everybody, especially my screw up at the end. Okay, if you've got any comments, please put them down below. Like and subscribe. I'd love to hear from you. But other than that, I'll see you in the next video. We're going to cover item templates next week. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. See you then.